They settled there for a short while, and then they moved on to Pomeroon, where the family actually struck permanent roots.
Okay. Do you have any idea why was there the exodus from the East Coast to Demerara and to Pomeroon?
I have no idea why, but I guess it was because that was a period when men were pioneers. They
Okay.
wanted to go out.
Okay.
Not like nowadays when people stick to the city
Okay.
and the urban areas. People wanted to go out, as I shall relate later on. And I think the early Glens, they felt that urge.
Okay.
And so they kept on moving until eventually they struck roots in Palm.
Okay. All right. So I guess so we are in Pomeroon right now.
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason, I always thought that the Glens were always in Pomeroon. They're not. Okay. So do you know when they moved to Pomeroon? Do you know? Let's as a point of reference, right? My point of reference is always Father Glenn, and his name was Ignatius Glenn, right? Cornelius Father Glenn. Lucius Glenn.
Lucius Alexander.
Okay, so we have Lucius Glenn, right? Let's start that as a reference.
No, we should go a little further.
A little further, well.
There were two Luciuses, if I may put it that way.
Okay.
Lucius Alexander Sr.,
Okay.
my grandfather,
Okay.
and Lucius Alexander Jr., which is the Lucius you're talking,
Okay.
which was son to the senior.
The senior. Do you know when Lucius Senior was born? What do you know about him? Okay, let's start with Lucius Senior, which is your grandfather.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know anything of his father?
Of his,
His father.
yes.
Lucius Senior's father.
Oh, yes. He appeared to, from what I've heard, he was the head of the clan in Pomeroon,
Okay.
and he was referred to as Old Sam Glen.
Old Sam Glenn.
Sam Glen.
So that's going to be my great grandfather.
Something like that.
Okay. And do you know anything about his siblings? How many brothers and sisters he has?
Yes, I know something about all.
Okay.
The lady who really could have given much of that information is the one we buried.
That's grandma.
So,
Okay.
at any rate, old Sam, who, as I said, appeared to be head of the clan,
Okay.
he got Lucius Alexander Sr.
Okay.
as a son.
Okay.
Now, old Sam had a brother by the name of Aaron,
Aaron. Okay.
first Aaron Glen.
First Aaron Glenn. And
To go back to the children,
yeah.
Lucius Alexander, my grandfather, he got Lucius Alexander Jr., which is your
Great grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
Father Glenn.
and he also got Churchill, Winston Churchill. You will notice a kind of predilection for names and fancy names among these people.
Okay.
as we
Yes.
see.
Yes.
So my father was Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. Okay.
Now they also had a brother that I just barely faintly, I never met him,
Okay.
and they called him Henny. What his real name was, I don't know.
What do you call him?
Henny.
Eddie.
Henny Glenn. I never
Okay.
met him, I just heard sketches of him.
Okay.
So far as his children, well, of course, Willie was the man, which is your grandfather. He was the man with a lot of children.
Okay.
He had Henny, then Horman, then Hugh Middleton, which was a very picturesque character. I'll tell you something more as long as we have time about the film.
Yeah, we have time. We have some time.
Good. Then he had Hugh Middleton, and after Hugh Middleton, he got 3 sets of twins.
Yes. Okay.
3 sets of twins. And the old people said that Hugh Middleton had to be a worthless fellow. When you say worthless, I mean you qualify the term worthless. Mischievous sort of fellow.
Hugh Middleton.
Because
I never heard of him before.
yeah, man. Hugh Middleton, he was known as Meadow.
Uncle Meadow.
Uncle Meadow.
Uncle Meadow.
Yes, his
Yes.
real name was Hugh Middleton.
Uncle Meadow, was that a sweet boy?
One
it?
of them. The real sweet one was Horman.
Herman, yes. Yes. Almost a sweet one. Okay. Okay, so that's okay. So you would say okay. So they had 3 sets of twins. Okay, and the twins were
Edgar and Edna. Edna was buried a few days ago.
Correct, yeah.
Edgar died before.
Okay.
And following them, you had Ona, which died some years ago.
Okay.
Owen.
Owen.
Also dead.
Okay.
And then the two who are still alive. That's
Letty.
Lynn and Let.
Okay.
Evelyn and Irene.
All right. You mentioned something about Uncle Owen. That you're going to give us a story about him.
No, Meadow.
Uncle Meadow. Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Now the story goes like this. He would remain with his father until he misbehaved too much for the father, which is your grandfather.
Okay.
And the grandfather would chase him and he'd go across to my grandfather.
Okay.
Well, they were neighboring. The houses were neighboring. He would stay with my grandfather until his behavior got overbearing. Then he would
go back.
And he kept on this back and forth thing until one day, this is how I got it. Well, I have a faint personal knowledge about this.
Okay.
One day he was sent to prepare some chocolate, cocoa beans to make chocolate.
Yes,
which was very a favorite dish in those days.
Okay.
People should learn to use that thing more. Now, after finished grinding the cocoa beans, a game of cricket was in progress.
Okay.
And he forgot all about the cocoa beans. He just pushed them under the bridge and he joined the game.
Okay.
Until the sun started to go down. So the old man, my grandfather, wanted to know what happened to Meadow all this time. My old man was a very hot-tempered man.
Okay.
At any rate, he went to search for Meadow. And little Meadow left him long ago. Meadow gone home. Anyway, he poked around until he found the bowl of chocolate under the bridge.
Okay.
Well, Meadow was not able to go home anymore. And, well, of course, by then he was a young adult, and he took leave of his parents.
Okay.
He went up to Pickersgill, and he learned mechanic, repairing engines, and he was very skillful at that.
Okay.
Very, very skillful at that.
Okay.
So, in brief, that was one of his escapades. And I heard that he never went back home until he was married, I think, to Ethel.
Okay. Aunt Ethel. Aunt Ethel did she move to Wisdom Mackenzie?
I don't know where she went to.
Aunt Ethel, that's Wesley?
Yes.
Yes, Wesley's. Yes, okay, Wesley's mother, okay. All right, so the reference points we are right now is we have a Father Glenn and Mother Glenn, and Father Glenn and your father were brothers.
Yes.
Okay. And how many brothers did Father Glenn have and sisters?
Well, as I said, my father and the one that I heard about, never met him.
Eddie. Was he in Pomeroon, or where did he settle down?
I don't know if he ever settled from what I was hearing.
Okay. Was your father born in Pomeroon?
Yes.
Okay. So, and your father was born in Pomeroon. Was your grandfather born in Pomeroon?
I don't.
You don't know. Was Father Glenn born in Pomeroon?
No.
He wasn't born in Pomeroon.
You mean you're really Glenn?
Yes, my Father Glenn.
Yes, he must have been born.
Born in Pomeroon. Okay. All right. So your father had. It's you, and how many siblings were in your generation? Just you? Your father only had one child?
One child.
One child. Okay. Did your father had any sisters?
No.
So there were 3 boys. Okay. And all right. And what do you know about your mother?
Well, that's an interesting part of the Glenn story. My mother was an Amber Indian.
Okay.
And I was born in a creek in Northwest called Aymaracabra.
Okay.
Aymaracabra. I was told when I was about 2 years of age, the head teacher for the mission school in Aymaracabra told my grandfather he should not allow me to grow up in that environment.
Okay. For what reason?
Well, it was Amerindian and it was hinterland and low-key environment and all that stuff.
Okay.
So he got my mother's permission and he brought me away from there and he looked after me, gave me my education and trained me and all that stuff.
Okay. All right. tell us an interesting story and something that the Glens try to hide.
Well,
And
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't want us to know. Wouldn't want this generation to know.
No, there's much, and a man is there as well. Anyway, they say the Marcus Nihil which is a Latin phrase I caught from the Roman.
Okay.
But there are many interesting things to be told. Many.
Okay.
Let me go back a bit to how did the Glens get their property there?
Okay.
Good. Now remember I referred to old Sam Glen, who was head of the clan.
Yes.
He had a brother, the first Aaron.
Okay.
Good. Aaron was my grandfather's uncle.
Okay.
Now the two of them got together, went in the gold fields, got money, came back and bought the property that the Glens developed.
Okay.
Okay.
And in those ages, the cost of that property would have been how much?
Very interesting. 100
I got to talk to her about this, right?
100 acres of virgin lands for you guess.
I don't know.
$25.
$25.
I saw 100 acres of virgin farm.
And I guess the saying is always said that real estate is one of the best investments.
Well, I guess we can say so.
Okay. All right. We were talking about something interesting.
There's so much interesting about going from this side to this side. But anyway, let me continue that story a bit.
Uh-huh.
Now, the 100 acres was divided into two 50-acre blocks.
Okay.
One block went to the other branch of the Glen from that is Abraham Glen's farm,
Okay.
and the other block came to my grandfather.
Okay.
They developed that property. And to go back to your grandfather, very interesting. He was, as far as I remember, a gentleman in every sense of the word, very quiet, very Christian. Never tasted alcohol, I heard, which was rare for a Glen.
Okay.
It's not today. Yes, it was said, whether in joke or not, I don't know, that if he drank a glass of lemonade, it would make him drunk. I mean, that's what the people used to say, I don't know.
Okay.
But he was that kind of person.
Okay.
Now, he developed his part of the 25, of the 50 acres.
Uh-huh.
And he built there what must have been the most modern dehydration plant for copper.
Wow. In terms of the plan, did he develop the plan?
Yes, he designed and built everything.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was destroyed by fire.
Okay.
Then, in addition to that, we used to call him Buddy Willie. In addition to that, he was a musician who constructed, please believe me, I saw it, who constructed his own harp.
That's my grandfather. That's my great grandfather. Okay.
Constructed his own harp.
I think I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was also pioneer.
Okay.
He attempted to extend agriculture.
Okay. Sorry about that interruption. Okay. Where were we?
I was saying that he attempted to extend his agricultural business interests further west along the seacoast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he attempted to extend his agricultural activities further west along a place called Shell Beach.
Okay.
But that was not successful.
Okay.
He nearly lost his life.
In terms of what it.
The boat sank. His boat sank.
Okay.
In addition to that, he was a soap maker.
I heard about that.
Yes, he used to make
And I heard he was also a wonderful baker.
also.
Grandma would tell me that he, in terms of his recipe or his formula for making soap, a lot of his breads that he would bake, he refused to give anyone the formula.
Well, I don't know about that.
Right.
All I know is that he used to make soap.
Okay.
We got the formula from him.
Okay.
But I can believe that because if you were to investigate this family, certain traits run through them. They got this inquisitiveness about things. Well, what is this made of? What can I make from this? Let me try with this, and so on. It's a common trait.
Okay. A project I want to start working on, and I guess when I get back, I need to get your address. and start I would like for us to construct a family tree, because I get together at occasions like this, and all I know, this is my cousin. How we're connected, I don't know. So I know my cousin, Aunt Evelyn's daughter Pinky. She's been trying to do it, and there are a few people who are trying to do it. And I'm going to try to form a committee when I get back to the States. Form a committee, and I guess I'll appoint myself the head of the committee, and I'm going to try to enter everything into a computer. So it's going to be almost in stone, and we could always go back and see exactly where we fit. I know going back too far back may be a bit fuzzy, but I'm going to start with the whole process and trying to get that straightened out.
That's interesting. When I was in the States, I got an offer form to trace my family way back. The name Glenn appears to have been taken from a Scotsman.
From a what?
A Scotsman.
Okay. Was he a slave owner?
Well, I suspect so.
Okay.
Because the habit in that far of time there was for the slaves to own, the slave owners to name the slaves accordingly.
Precisely, yes. Precisely, yes.
So you might come up with some very interesting
Yes,
information
yeah, okay.
as you do that research.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to tell you about the man that I consider to be, the one I consider to be the real exceptional man.
Okay.
That is my grandfather.
Okay.
Lucius.
Yes, I will.
Lucius Alexander Sr.
Okay.
Now, you will notice his name. Lucius, Roman, Alexander,
Okay.
Greek.
Greek.
Now, how he came by that name, I don't know. I sort of suspected he gave himself that name, but there's only a contractor.
Okay.
Because in those days, you never found black people at that level of intellect. You don't select such names for each other.
Okay.
He was a very, very interesting child. He was a musician. He played the clarinet.
Okay.
And that musical streak runs through the Glen family.
Okay.
He was a farmer. He introduced a species of potato from Barbados called the Barbados white nut. Brought that over from Barbados.
Okay.
Musician, farmer, he was a tailor.
Wait a second. You bought it from Barbados. What is the connection with the Glens and Barbados?
That's the only one I know. That the old man, Lucius Alexander Sr., used to trade with Barbados.
Okay.
He did. I understand. He did
Okay.
Pretty extensive trade.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a farmer, he was a tailor, he was a cobbler.
Okay, so that's where the tailoring, because,
That runs through again.
because him, Father Glenn was a tailor, Grandma was a tailor,
Yes,
now we had Chessie was a tailor,
yes, Harmon was a tailor.
Herman was a tailor, and Wesley's a tailor back in
He was a
Brooklyn.
tailor, that's right.
Okay,
Certain things are right.
okay,
And this old man, that's my father. I was told that he left school in Standard 2.
correct.
But the amazing thing that when my eyes were open to literature, I found this old man with a Greek primer in his library. So how he made that jump from Standard 2 in those days to a Greek primer, it boggles my mind.
Okay.
But he did make it.
Okay.
Because he also in his library, he also had history of the First World War.
Okay.
He had history of W.F. Arnott, a traveler in Africa.
Okay.
He aroused my curiosity about the travels of Robert and Richard Schomburg, the surveyors who laid out the boundaries of British Guyana.
Okay.
And that was the sort of man. He also was a writer. He was a member of what was called the Essequibo Ever Circulator. Essequibo Ever Circulator.
Was that a newspaper?
No, it was a group of let's say, intellectuals,
Okay.
schoolmasters, dispensers, farmers like himself, people of that group.
Okay.
They would write, one man would write an essay and circulate it, and the others would comment on it.
Okay.
That's why it was called the essay. It would ever circulate.
Okay.
He was a member of that. And he was also a traveler in Guyana itself. He reached as far as a place that I would like to reach before I die. That's Rocky River.
Where's that?
Good question. Even natives of the Northwest, I ask, where is Rocky River? And very few of them can answer.
Okay.
But it's somewhere about in Paris.
Okay.
Somewhere. He reached as far as Rocky River. He told me that. And he must have been some kind of archaeologist, because don't laugh.
Okay.
Because those places, you had all these antiques, these Amerindian artifacts and so on.
Okay.
And he had at least one
Uh-huh.
that I know about in his own.
Okay.
He has a prehistoric axe head.
Okay.
So the old fellow was really, he was out of the ordinary for his day.
Okay.
Now, I spoke about your grandfather.
Yeah.
With his soup making and
Correct, yeah.
all the rest of it. Now about my father, he also inherited some intellectual traits,
Okay.
but his gift lay in oratory. He was a very good public speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, so much so that he was given the nickname the Gun.
The gun.
Gun.
Okay.
Gun boat. And they gave him that name because at that time there was a famous lawyer called Nelson Nelson Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who was a good orator, and my father being, as we say, a good talk man.
Okay.
So they transferred him into Cannon, the circus Cannon.
Okay.
So Cannon is a fun. So
Okay.
they got my father.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
We have maybe about five to 8 more minutes to round this up, because that's all the tape I have remaining,
Okay.
and I wanna. It's very interesting.
To tell you about the Glens, really, it would take heavy research,
Okay.
and I'm quite certain that it would make very interesting reading.
Okay.
For instance, peasant agriculture in Guyana now is in shambles.
Okay.
Good. And my father was among the pioneers who attempted to get direct parliamentary representation for farmers.
Okay.
Yeah? The
Okay.
Garoon Farmers Association.
Okay.
Okay, any other question?
Uh,
Perhaps on the religious side?
yeah.
Because-
I know that I'm Seventh-day Adventist, and I always tell people that I'm Seventh-day Adventist. My parents are Seventh-day Adventists. My grandmother is. My great-grandfather was Seventh-day Adventist. How did the Glens get introduced into the Seventh-day Adventist religion?
It's largely hearsay,
Okay.
but originally they were brethren,
Your brethren. Okay.
and some theological disagreement occurred
Okay.
that caused your grandfather to go across to the Seventh-day Adventists.
Okay. So my grandfather, my great-grandfather,
Great-grandfather.
Father Glenn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how he went across to the Seventh-day. I know that much.
Okay.
And there's an interesting thing that involved me there. Now that church is Monka SDA.
Yeah.
Good. Now, I'm saying this without any attempt to ridicule, to be ridiculous.
Okay.
But for years, that church was an eyesore.
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 Why?
For years.
Why?
The people just didn't seem to know what to do, and they lacked the leadership.
Okay.
Until I came on the scene, this is going to surprise you, was baptized in the Seventh-day Adventist faith.
Okay.
And one day I asked the elders to come together.
Mm-hmm.
I say, you know something? Every harvest and gathering, we collect hundreds of dollars, perhaps thousands,
Mm-hmm.
foreign missions. Some of that money goes to China, some goes to India, some goes to heaven knows where.
Okay.
But this SDA Monka Church is also a foreign mission. Now that struck me.
Okay.
They didn't believe. Fortunately, your great-grandfather was the elder at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And he wrote to the, what do you call it, the mission or something.
The conference.
The conference.
Okay.
Whatever it is. And they said, yes, you are entitled to funds from the foreign. So all these years, these people were collecting this, not knowing that they could benefit from it.
Okay.
Anyway, they wrote, they contacted, and they got money on a dollar-for-dollar basis, 50%, 50%.
Okay.
And eventually that church became the best in Palmer. Well, I don't know what state it is in now. I only
Apart, it's one of the best churches on the in the Essequibo region.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Even though, I mean, I think it's one of the biggest. It's bigger than all the churches on the Essequibo coast.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I remember I spent a lot of summers at the in Pomeroon, and my memory of Pomeroon. I remember Father Glenn. When I knew Father Glenn, he was getting down, and that time he was blind. I have vague recollections of Mother Glenn. I think she died back in the late 60s. I was born in 1964. But I had some really fond memories of Pomeroon during the summertime. And I would always look forward to go there and walking the dam, walking from Fear Not to Bolas, or taking the boat sometimes, or walking from Fear Not to Monk's Church. And that's some memories, those are memories that I'll always treasure. I think I'll always treasure.
This is interesting.
Yeah. The last thing you were in Pomeroon, how long ago?
The last time I passed through, during the last elections, that was
This is one of the first times I think I'm coming to Guyana. In over 20 years, and I have not been to Pomeroon. I normally call Pomeroon my reference point in life, or my GPS, global position satellite. It tells me exactly who I am, where I came from. And when I go back to the States, it all puts things in perspective. I guess we're about to run the tape right now. If you could make any last minute comments. If we have less than 1 minute.
Yes, all right. Keep up the good work, especially on the religious side. We need families who are committed to religion.
Yes.
Make religion work, make it a fact of life.
Correct, yeah.
And I will encourage you and your family in that.
And I thank you for that. I mean, I'm trying. I have 3 boys, and one of the things I want to do is to bring them back to Guyana. 2 of them came back to Guyana. They were, I think, 3 and 4 years old. But they need to know what their reference point is. And I know sometimes families take their kids to the States, and they forget everything or where they come from. I think if you forget where you come from, your past you're condemned to repeat the mistakes of the past. If you forget your past, you're condemned to repeat the mistakes of your past. All right, thank you. That's it.
Thank you.